What is wrong with me? I remember being in math class in school. I was sat in the front row of the class, probably for a reason. The teacher was talking, and I was listening in my own way, fiddling, doodling, chatting. And the teacher says to me, "Josh, sit still, focus, pay attention. In fact, please leave the room." So there I am, outside, all of a sudden, confused, wondering what was going on. Because I liked maths, I was good at maths, and actually, I was listening. But you see, my ADHD meant that I would listen in a bit of a different way to other people. That chatting, fiddling, doodling was just my way of paying attention. And yet I was being called disruptive. And it happened in other classes too, being sent out. And after a while of being told this, I believed it was true. So I started to act out. My grades, my confidence plummeted. And for years, I believed that I had an attention and an intelligence problem. But actually, I had a people problem. Now, I work with thousands of people on a yearly basis, and we talk about ADHD, how we can thrive in working environments, socially, and get things done in a really creative, different, and interesting way. And I figured out that we don't have an ADHD problem. And of the 2.5 million people in the UK alone that have ADHD, whether it's diagnosed or who self-identify, it affects a lot of people. And this is NHS data from May of last year. So I started to think differently about this whole situation. But let me give you an example for the ADHD brain. And for you neurotypicals, this may surprise you. Now, I'll get an email. This email is important. I probably should answer it. So I open up my email and I start reading. Also, I open up Instagram and I start scrolling for about 20, 30 minutes. I'll head over to my bank account just to check exactly how much money is in there. And then perhaps I'll go to Google and see what the latest research is from NASA on black holes, any recent discoveries, and then head back to the email and send a quick response. Or perhaps that project that I've been procrastinating over the last 3 weeks, suddenly it's 11:47 p.m. and I become the most productive human alive. So with ADHD, I don't think we've got a problem. I think we just need to think about the people that can help us. So, meet the people. We've got Scout. Now, Scout here loves novelty. Anything that's different, changing, Scout is connected. If it's repeated constantly, Scout gets bored. We've got Firefighter. Bursts in, kind of chaotic, kind of crazy, but because of things like pressure and deadlines, gets a lot of stuff done. We've got Spark, which is connected to your interests. When you've got hobbies, experiences, interests connected to the things that you want to do, it feels more enjoyable. We've got Challenger, the gamer of the group. Now, when you've got competitions, WhatsApp groups, personal records, it feels like a competition. Gamer is on board. And finally, we've got Driver, connected to your passion. When you care about something, it honestly doesn't feel like work. Now this guy, the administrator. Boring, repeated, no urgency, no meaning. AKA spreadsheets, emails, laundry, pointless meetings. And I've lived my life fearing the administrator, being judged for not being more like him, for not sitting still, focusing, and paying attention. And I kind of think the world is set up for the administrator, for us to complete these tasks that we should do that are important. But in reality, we need to start thinking differently about all of this. And this is based on research by Dr. William Dodson, who spent 25 years connecting the dots between ADHD and how we can get things done. And he figured out that we've got this dopamine connection with ADHD. It is a dysregulation. It's one of the neurotransmitters for the ADHD brain that affects us, which often means for ADHDers that we find it hard to get things done that aren't enjoyable, stimulating, and what we call task initiation difficulties. Hard to get moving. And he talks about novelty, urgency, interests, challenges, and your passion, and how tying these things in to those mundane, important should tasks can help you to think differently, and it gets a more creative way for you to get things done. Now, I used to be a chef, and I wondered for a while why I worked in that job for so long. It's a crazy career. I worked in a basement kitchen, hot environment, loads of pressure on minimum pay. I was surrounded by these angry, unhinged, alcoholic people day in, day out. I know this because I was one of them. And yeah, I thrived. I loved being in that environment. We didn't want to leave. It had this strange, addictive quality to it. And it was because all of my team had a job. Scout was there because every day was different. The menu would change daily, weekly, depending on the season. Firefighter was there. We had lunch service, dinner service to prepare for, so we couldn't just sit around and procrastinate. Spark was there. I'm a big foodie, so learning how to eat delicious food was a win. We had Challenger. That pressure of having hundreds of people in the restaurant with a small team allowed us to move mountains. And finally, Driver. We cared about the work. We wanted to be there, and it didn't feel like work a lot of the time. So let's make this practical for all of you. Who's got one of those tasks that they've been procrastinating over recently? Keep your hand up if you should do it and it's important, right? Chances are you haven't got enough of your team on board. So how can we add more of this into your world to make it easier? Think about Scout, novelty, changing things up. For me, for example, if I'm working from home and I'm getting bored in the home office, I'll go and work in a coffee shop. That environmental change helps. Firefighter, with the urgency. Now, I know deadlines are important, but I spoke to a lady recently who was struggling with housework. And the only thing that she could figure out to solve was by inviting people over. But that became the light bulb moment. More people were invited over, the house was always clean. Spark, how can you connect interests to the tasks that are boring? Somebody recently that I spoke to liked to go for a walk in nature, but was getting stuck with email. We connected them together, he went for a walk in nature, answered email, he soon started to look forward to email. Get a competition with your peers in a WhatsApp group for Challenger, or perhaps connecting to your values and interests, and that can make it feel easier to do. You see, the world is changing, and just because the administrator has maybe been around for a long time and the world is kind of built for him, doesn't mean you have to constantly stay in that world. We're seeing body doubling being incorporated into workplaces, closed working offices for those distractible ADHD brains, but it starts with you. It starts with getting proactive and creative about you getting things done. Because there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with me. So we need to build a world where we can win. Thank you.